class. We are back for video number 3 of our beautiful host opening. So obviously, as you can see in the background, we've got our first 2 lined up here. And we are now on to number 3. Want to give a massive shout out to the guys over at Host again, because they supplied us with obviously all 3, plus our lovely big box, which will be video number 4. But let's get started straight away, because you should have watched these in order. And we are going to finish up with this one, which is Annabella, lowest of the firstborn character deck. So flip over, let's have a look what this one's about. So character deck Annabella contains a pre-built 51 card deck sculptured around Annabella, lowest of the firstborn, and has everything you need to begin your journey into Host. Control the board with powerful sorceries, while chipping away at your opponent behind your vampiric bodyguard. Oh, so this is a defensive deck. Here we go. That looks beyond beautiful. Note, this contains a deck for 1 player. Each player will need their own deck to play Host. And then obviously, as usual, visit Host to find out more about Host. Check out the How to Play guide. Use our deck builder to take your game to the next level. A lovely little QR code. And obviously, it's all going to be linked in the description as usual. So, do I get into this one easier than I got into the last 2? Well, the first one was easy. The second one I struggled. This one was okay-ish. I say as I've now struggled to get it out of the actual box. Come on. There we go. So I'm going to learn this time. And if I remove, ouch, as I knock the camera, remove the plastic wrapping. And we'll pop our lovely storage box over to the side. Now we'll have another look at our backs, where you don't get a heavy reflection seeing me in the camera. But I really do enjoy these backs. And let's start off with our first card, which is the lowest of the firstborn, Annabella, which is our host. Start the game with a vampiric bodyguard in play in your center front row slot. Okay, so let's keep an eye out for this. Hang on, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cheat slightly. We're going to find said card to talk about first, because I feel that's going, with it being the important card, we might be best off covering it first. Here we are, found him. And this is going to interest a lot of people when you look at his art, because here he is, Mr. Vampiric Bodyguard. He cannot attack, cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects, and your opponent can only choose Vampiric Bodyguard for attacks. So, very big meaty shield. We start with one of these in play. Really good. So this is showing that it's already a very defensive deck. So getting one of these for free for starting the game is really not that bad. Oops, as I just accidentally flicked all 4 of them across the table. But no, okay, so straight away, search your deck for Vampiric Bodyguard is really good. I don't know if obviously it happens before or after we do our mulligans and all that, but we'll check that out in the How to Play video. Unless future editing me pops something up on screen and calls me an idiot at the same time. So this is our next one. We get 4 copies of the Black Castle. So this is going to be very vampiric themed. So this is going to be really nice for those fans of stuff like Twilight. And this is, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Put 1 card from among them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So we get to filter for the top 3 cards, add 1 to hand, put 2 to bottom. So little reverse stacking deck, really interesting. And we get to grab whatever we need for the situation out of those 3 cards. Next one is, we have got Blood Magic. So, nice sorcery. Deal a damage to each... still 2 damage to each entity. For 1 cost, that's not bad. Also, because I forgot to show it off at the beginning, this is our third symbol type. So obviously we have got multiple symbols, but this is now number 3. 2 damage to everything is just like, okay, bleh. Hit everything for small damage. Next one we have got 4 copies of, which is Brav the Looter, which is a vampire thief. This entity cannot be blocked by entities with a cost of 2 or less. Okay, so this means you're guaranteed to swing with it in the early game, which is really interesting. It also shows a bit how the attack structures forming. It seems to be like magic, where you declare the attack, your opponent chooses what they want to block with. So it's interesting. Next one is 3 copies of our ambush, which is the creeping corrosion. As you can see, it's the corrosion creeping in there, which is interesting. Activate when your entity your opponent controls attacks. Deal 3 damage to an attacking entity. So you get to do this to deal damage to them first, and it might protect your thing from being attacked, which is interesting. Next one is 1, 2, 3, 4 of this Cursed Blood. Still getting used to this whole camera stuff, so I do apologise for if it's too close or zooming in or all that fancy jazz. But sacrifice a vampire entity you control to deal 3 damage to target entity. So sacrificing one of your things to shoot something else for 3 damage, really nice. Plus you might be, like with the other ones, they had ones that said, oh, if this is retired you get to do this. This might have something that goes with that. I don't know how close you have to stick to your deck building or if you must use this type. But again, that's in the how to play section. Next up, we've got, only 3 of this one, which is the Fortune Teller of Black. So, move my thumb out ever so slightly. There we go. So, when this entity would attack an entity, you may instead remove all damage from target entity you control. Oh, so when this attacks, you get to heal something else. That's interesting. Okay, I like that. So you could use this to combo off with your bodyguard to keep healing your bodyguard to protect your life. So really defensive. I like that. But you've got to be attacking a entity. So might not come up too often. I don't know off the top of my head. Next up, we've got 2 copies of Katharina Pure Blood. Destroy a entity you control to destroy target entity. Okay, really liking this art. Really nice and dark. Unfortunately, I'm not too fond of the darky art things. I prefer to actually be able to see what I'm playing. So I may not play this one too much, but I'm definitely going to try and get something out of it. Next up, we have got 2 copies of our next card, which is, this is nice and bright compared to the last one. And that is Knowledge Through Power. Art's really nice. Put the top card of your deck into your damage zone. Then gain 3 of the resource. So, really interesting. And obviously, this now says that we play with damage in our game to decide who wins and who loses. So obviously we'll look into this a bit more in the rules section of how to play. Which obviously I'll likely have the page, I'll either do the page up or I'll be doing it via camera again. I don't know at this point in time. I just wanted to open everything because it came today and I was like, charge camera, charge. So we've got 4 copies of Lilith the Seducer. So when this entity is created from your hand, target entity your opponent controls cannot attack or block until this entity leaves the field. Oh, that's interesting. So this means this is our stun cards. And those that play Vanguard, which is obviously where I'm mainly from, you have Mega Conley in the you cannot attack, cannot intercept situation, which is really interesting. I like Control. Control is fun. So that's a really nice card. I like that one. Next, we've got 2 copies of our next card, which is one of our ambushes in mind control. When an effect that is triggered or activated, you may select new targets for that effect. Oh, so you can go... when they go, okay, I want to destroy this, this, and this, you can go, no. You're destroying this, this, and that instead. I like that. This is controlled to a new level. Next, we've got 4 copies of our next card. Which is... Ooh. Beautiful art. Nuriel the Flame. Unique. Oh, this is a new keyword. No more than 1 copy of this card can be on your side of the field. When this entity is created from hand, gain 2. That's why it's you can only use 1, because they don't want you spamming the ability to gain the resources. So 4 of them. Next we've got 3 of this one, which is... Oh, I move my thumb. Racine, Power Unleashed. When this entity is created from your hand, put a sorcery from your drop zone into your hand. So this gets our spells back, which is really interesting. Next one is 2 copies of Skurala, the Blood Gems, which is another entity. This entity cannot be targeted by or take damage from sorceries. Okay, this is interesting. Like that one, so an anti-protection card. Next one we have 3 copies of, which is the rest of the vampires. So this is our Vampire Aristocrat. Very fancy. Pay the 2 resource. Search your deck for a vampire entity and put it into your hand. So obviously it looks for the... where it says entity vampire on this card. You're looking for that on other cards. And our last card we've got 2 copies of, which is the Vampiric Shamble. And when a vampire entity you control is destroyed, you may create this card from your hand in the same slot as that entity. You do not pay this card's cost. Okay, so when they actually get around to destroying our vampire bodyguard, we can actually go and create this to have an extra meat shield, which is really interesting. Presuming I am right in that you can use this as a meat shield the same turn. But no, this is a really very interesting deck. So that's deck number 3 opened. Once again, thank you very much to host for sending me all this stuff to open. I've really enjoyed it. And I can't wait to crack the big boy box. But that's going to be in episode number 4. Make sure, everyone, to check down host in the description below. And I shall catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.